Let us show you something. Something you've never imagined. That's the first thing you hear. Not a monster, not a scream, just a promise. A promise from a game that's hiding something beneath flickering screens and cold factory floors. Roblox 4 has seen its share of jump scares and cheap thrills, but Fear Factory, the upcoming title by Legend Dev, is not one of them. This game is different. It's not about what chases you, it's about what you become. Across 5 cryptic video clips, we're shown a chilling vision of labor, control, and identity loss, wrapped in analog dread and capitalist decay. Legend Roblox, also known as Legend Developer on YouTube, is no stranger to creating experimental horror and intriguing narratives. With games like Imaginary, which blew up over 3 million visits, I believe that's the case right now, is a good landmark of how he changed horror to just a jump scare simulator experience to an active and intriguing experience that viewers and game players alike really get to see, this isn't your typical horror game. Here's something interesting. In Fear Factory, time feels like it's stuck on a loop. The imagery throughout the game draws heavily from 20th century American labor iconography, from punch cards in Clip 1, Clock In, to the factory line in Clip 4, Assembly Process. The game is a haunting critique of labor and how America was after World War II. The game uses American manufacturing icons like assembly lines and punch clocks to really highlight how labor was, and even how the company, Evermore, functions as the ultimate employer, trapping workers in a cycle of repetitive tasks with no escape. This could also be a critique of our own modern-day work culture, which often feels like an endless loop of production and consumption. But let's break down the clips, each building upon one another to form a chilling narrative. In Clock In, we are presented inside of a void and barren room, with the distinct model of a factory time clock that employees would presumably clock in with. The clock shares an antique aesthetic with a particularly large stamp button that, when prompted, shoots out an automated stamp machine that updates the factory clock under a new timestamp. A fun detail that's very minor scaled is a tag on this factory clock. It says, "Made by Evermore," in engraved burgundy letters into the clock's frame. This is the first sign of a company ever being introduced into this universe, and not only that, the first in history for the developer Legend as well. An extra detail is that the viewer seems to flash in as if waking up from a nap at the start of this clip, and then the same for the end as if slowly falling back to sleep. I don't know if this can maybe indicate heavy hours of overtime and maybe sleep deprivation. That might tie into what we know about this game's premise of work before self. But this clip suggests a lack of agency. The worker isn't just clocking in, they're entering a trap. The time clock is the gatekeeper, and Evermore has always controlled the cycle of work. The slow and sleep-deprived visuals definitely hint at exhaustion, and suggest that the worker is perpetually stuck in this loop like I said before. The name Evermore is engraved, and that this system has always been in place. Inside of Money Machine, we start with the very familiar Roblox Tycoon world. Similar to some of the most popular Tycoon templates on this game's page, like Superhero Tycoon, you recognize it. As one of the characters enters his Tycoon, depicted actually by the game developer Legend himself, we see an insurmountable amount of cash to collect, I think at 3.4 million. Though, to disrupt this aesthetic, we get screen flashes of glitched text reading, "Here's a twist," before the entire video decrypts into low bit quality and surprises the viewer with another dark room with a large money collector, probably called the Money Machine. The money is collected by a specific jump animation, as the character jumps in a path that sucks into the ground like a pressure plate and releases back up in a factory-styled invention. When collected first, a bunch of code-like text is pushed down, and the in-game's Money Machine's interface saying, "Spawn new asset," which names like Snatch, Keep, Stalker. And as money flies around as a celebration, the uncanny ambience is still present. Entering assembly process, we get the viewing of a factory belt and a machine of an industrial object being constructed completely mechanically inside of yet another dark room. While the process goes on, every time a new part is connected and set in, there are flashes. The viewer can see red boxes, packaged cardboard boxes, and gray tiled floors that resemble more factory construction. Then, activation, a rumble, an orange glow. Whatever was built, it's alive now. The most important part of this clip is the cryptic letters forming either a word or a phrase. The order we get for the letters are W, O, I, H, and S. Now obviously my speculation is who is, as if you reorder the letters you get a phrase, but it's unclear. The clip ends with a seemingly activation sequence that started of whatever was constructed with an orange dim light similar to the junction lighting of the first clip, also accompanied by a lot of shaking, and they were over. On the most recent clip, Hot and Ready, we are met with a strange microwave in the middle of a dark factory junction. The microwave holds an American-looking cheeseburger, to which it is set to cook for 40 seconds long. The burger is set to cook in the microwave for 40 seconds long. Once finished though, as the camera pans into the powered microwave, we are met with a glitching display of letters in place where the seconds would appear in the microwave. A phrase is repeated with these letters: RHIRSRT Some letters are more likely repeating at random. As this is going, the power display on the microwave starts to decline rapidly from 100 to 60 in about 5 to 8 seconds before the viewer gets spun around to a large wall of 5 different screens, most resembling antique TVs, and very messy but etiquette handwriting in green, seemingly burnt into the wall as a diagram of multiple stacked TV screens, and you can start to see the consistency with screens as the 5 screens spell out this code, ATACTSN. It's spelling Snatch. It's spelling Snatch, an entity that is unknown connection to the factory, as well as its possible roadblock towards the player. Now, after a lot of seconds, the screen glitches like a VHS analog, and empty underscores are presented over this overlay, insinuating a fill-in-the-blank. Right after this, a gray-on-gray mirage of a text spells message with the symbol of the paper airplane format, which typically resembles nowadays a send icon for many devices. Weird, but that's where the clip ends. Across every clip, we see the same themes emerge: industrialization, with assembly belts, time clocks, cardboard boxes, consumerism, with microwaves, cheeseburgers and cash counters, dehumanization, different entity names, bad sleep cycles, and cryptic prompts. This game is not about survival, it's about routine. You are not the protagonist, you are a component, and once you clock in, you may never clock out. Evermore didn't just build the machines, they might have just built you in their trap. So, who is Snatch? A monster? A program? A recruiter? Is it like maybe Snatch isn't the enemy? Maybe he's a warning?
Maybe he's already inside.
But the game begs the question, who is? It gives us no answer, just work. Work that loops and work that consumes. But maybe, just maybe, if we keep decoding, if we keep watching, we'll find out what's on the next tape. Until then, stay awake, stay sharp, because in Fear Factory, nightmares may end, but the work never does.